Hey everyone, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be compiling a to be read pile for February. I don't really know what I want to read yet, and I had this brilliant idea that here I am at 6:30 in the morning and I have a little bit of time before work, and I was like, I'm all ready to go. Everything is set. And so why not sit down and talk to you really quickly? Partly because I've been really missing you all, and partly because I want to know what I ought to read. Well, not what I ought to read, but I want to make some choices for February, okay? So, if you are new to my channel, then a special hello to you. I am Shelly, and I really love all kinds of reading, all kinds of books, and it's a huge hobby of mine. So much so that I have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to books and reading, and my books and the reading that I do. Anyhow, um, so if you're new, I would encourage you to subscribe, like the video for all of you who are watching. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me monetarily. Is that right? Is that the right word? With monetary value, support in terms of money. My goodness. I also do like early access to Patreon members for all videos that end up going on my YouTube channel. And without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. The thing that is top of mind for February is a readathon called We Love Jennifer Readathon. As many of you know, and maybe some of you don't know, although I can't imagine anybody who watches me doesn't know Jennifer Brooks. Jennifer Brooks was a wonderful booktuber here in like our little corner of booktube, and she recently passed. And some close friends of hers, I still get emotional thinking about it. Some close friends of hers, Christy at Dostoevsky in Space, and who else? Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia. Oh my gosh, I left my mind for a moment. They put together a readathon celebrating Jennifer's life and her love for reading. And the whole point of the readathon is to either read like Jenny, read what Jenny would have liked to have read, read books that Jenny was inspired to pick up. And Jennifer was a huge, like, she loved all things. Like, she loved all the reading, epic poetry, classics, like ancient classics, all the way to Victorian classics. She liked to read a bunch about history, and she just loved all kinds of reading. And so it's very easy to read like Jennifer. And since I consider Jennifer a friend of mine here in our corner of BookTube, and I just really admired her, I really wanted to spend February celebrating her. So I'm going to start by looking around and seeing what tickles my fancy that also, Jennifer would have liked or has read or maybe has mentioned. I'm going to kind of try to marry those two things. And I'm already seeing a couple things that are inspiring to me. And so I am going to just gather some items up and show you what I came up with. I have a huge stack. I want to show you everything because that's what I want to do. And the first part is going to be books I know that Jennifer read and liked, and then books that I'm pretty sure she read or would have liked. So we'll start with the ones that I know for sure that she read and enjoyed. The first one is Sun and Splendor by Sharon K. Penman. This is that right? Penman, yes. And this is basically, I believe Jennifer said it was a love letter to Richard III. And she really humanizes and romanticizes Richard III during the Plantagenet era in English history. So I know for sure she read it and enjoyed it. I also know that she read and recommended Confessions by St. Augustine. I've started this a couple of times, probably because of Jennifer, but I started this a couple of times, and I just can't quite get in a good rhythm with it, but I also haven't really tried my best with it. So I know this is a possibility. It is, from what I know about Confessions by St. Augustine, is that it's surprisingly modern for being such an ancient classic. The thoughts, the way Augustine writes is very emotional, very the innards of one's life. So kind of, I want to get to it, and I want to get in a good rhythm with it and actually read it. So Confessions. I know that she also loved, and she called it a very gossipy kind of history, and it's The Histories by Herodotus. I'm like, I want to read a gossipy history. All right, please, and thank you. So, there's this. I know in a recommendations video, because I have been rewatching some of Jennifer's old videos and scrubbing through her recommendations, just being like, partly for this readathon, partly because I just enjoy revisiting her channel. And in one of a recommendations video that she had Machiavelli's The Prince, which has been forever on my list to read. Like, it's so short, and I'm just like, girl, you really need to get to this. So maybe this is a good time to finally, I don't even know really what this is about. Control power? I don't know. I'm thinking it's something Sinister-esque, but I don't really know. All right, I know that she loved Thomas Hardy. I don't know if she had exact thoughts about Far From the Madding Crowd, but she really loved Thomas Hardy. Jennifer loved Thomas Hardy, partly because his language was just beautiful. And I've heard this from many people, and many people are like, Shelley, just read Thomas Hardy, please, because you'll love him. You'll love him. So I was like, oh, maybe this is the time. This is also one of my 10 classics I want to read for 2024. 10 classics. Yeah, I want to accomplish in 2024. So there's this. I also know that she Jennifer very recently read Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. This is sad girl vibes to the core. This is, damaged and depressed woman moving through the world-ness. I don't know if it's unhinged. I don't think so. I think this is just like, I'm gonna like cry, sad tears moment. So maybe it's time I finally read Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. I really haven't read hardly anything by or about Sylvia Plath, but I know she had a fascinating life. So there's that. What else? I think, and then for sure, this has showed up on a couple of TBRs. I actually bought this because of Jennifer. And this is Marguerite Yourcenar, Memoirs of Hadrian. This is, I think I've even started it at one point, and I am just a wretch for not finishing it, to be honest. And I'm not trying to be mean to myself. I'm like, girl, I know I would like this. I know I would. And so, yeah, Memoirs of Hadrian, she said that it had just stunning writing, just gorgeous writing, and I was like, I want gorgeous writing in my life. So of course I bought it, and then it's been sitting on my shelves. It's been sitting on a shelf in my room for ages. And then finally, the last one is Tana French's The Likeness. This is a murder mystery. I know her and I both loved the Into the Woods, Tana French's first book in the Dublin Murder Squad series. And I love that book. I love that first book. I read it years ago, and it still has stuck with me. The writing is beautiful. Funny thing is that I've actually bought this book before, not even this copy. I bought the book. I read about half of it, and then I DNF'd it and I gave it away. And then I have since, it's been years, but I've since read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I know that this book gives secret history vibes, and it's like dark academia type vibes, at least the front. No, I don't even know if it's dark academia vibes. I think it's been described as the friend group in this book mirrors or is similar to the sort of wretchedness of the friend group in Donna Tartt's The Secret History. So, I don't know, take that what you will. And so this is another possibility. And then finally, the 3 books that I don't think she's read them, but I can't say for sure. Those ones I know for sure. Like, I know her Uwe, her canon, her Jennifer Brooks's canon, her reading breadth. I knew pretty well because I really loved her videos, and we kind of talked to each other via YouTube a lot. Like, she really inspired me to pick up books, and I think occasionally I inspired her to pick up a book. And so anyways, So I feel like I know her Uwe, you know, her works, what she liked and her taste and what she had read pretty well, but not everything, of course. So I have Ovid's Metamorphoses, or Metamorphoses. It's a plural thing. I have this, and I feel like she was either gonna read it or going to reread it. I don't remember, but I have it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's one that I really do want to read. And it's also on my 10 classics that I want to read for 2024. I feel like this would be up her alley. The Comedies by Terence, which is ancient comedic plays. So even if I read one, I feel like that would really, you know, at least give me a taste of Terence, and it'd help me decide whether or not Jennifer would have liked it. And then I feel like she read this and liked it, but I can't remember, and it's Tender as the Flesh by Augustina Baztierka. So I feel like she liked this, but I can't remember. And this is a horror novel, I think, in which humans are now eating, it's like a cannibalization. People are eating other people, you know, now in that post-apocalyptic, otherworldly kind of sense, or in the, you know, like maybe not too distant future, but post-apocalyptic kind of way. So let me just pick the books that I think I might prioritize, so at least I'll have a direction, because this is a lot of books, and there are some that I just feel like I really won't get to. So let me weed those out, and I'll just go over them really quickly. I didn't do a very good job in weeding, but I do have three books that three books that stood out at the top of the pile. The first one being Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. Then I have St. Augustine's Confessions and Tender as the Flesh. These three are really calling to me. Can't really articulate exactly why, but they are calling to me. Maybe length partly has to do with it. They're not too short, they're not too long. And I don't know, they all sound like a good variety of what Jennifer liked, including, like, you have something that's very modern, something that was written, you know, 80 years ago, and then something that was written hundreds of years ago. So very, very emblematic of Jennifer's reads and wrap-ups. Then I think next tier down, the books that are calling to me are probably these three. So I have Machiavelli's The Prince, one that I feel like I could read rather quickly. The Likeness by Tana French. I've just been really enjoying some mysteries lately, so this might be a really good one. And The Histories by Herodotus. I feel like if I get into a good rhythm with the Histories and Confessions, that they can actually move pretty quickly. So we'll see where I get with those. And then the last two that I feel like have a good chance of getting picked up are Metamorphoses and Memoirs of Hadrian. So those are that's like my pile of possibilities, my to be read pile, the things that are inspiring me. Of course, things come up and I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to read that, or I might pick up, you know, something else along the way. It's always I have a very fluid reading pace. So it's always interesting to do a TBR when I'm mostly a mood reader. You know, I don't always stick to a TBR, and I don't feel bad about it either. But anyways, I am gonna go. Those are kind of my loose plans. Very inspired by Jennifer, obviously, and I'm just so glad to honor her in this readathon. And that is it. I'm gonna stop rambling on. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye!